She's been married to rapper DMX for more than a decade, but in recent years, things haven't been as rosy.
That's right. Despite it all, she's thriving and she's writing. And here with her new book, You Think You Know, But You Have No Idea, is Tashira Simmons. Hello, welcome.
Hi.
First of all, I
Thank
love
you for
your
having
dress.
me.
Oh, I love this dress.
Thank you.
Deep Piper twins,
Yes,
right?
Deep Piper twins.
Fabulous,
on the show.
fabulous. Yeah, we had them
Did
on the
you?
show. Yeah,
Oh.
they're great.
So beautiful, the colors, everything.
So vibrant and alive.
Right?
Yay.
What I need right now. That's why I'm in my life. So I needed that.
Well, let's talk about the book. Why did you decide to write this now?
Well, it took me 5 years for one.
Really?
We've been separated for 8, and the reason why I decided to write it was because I had no choice, to be honest with you. Me and DMX has been through a crazy roller coaster. And unfortunately, a lot of the fame, besides the drugs, which played a major part, but with the fame and fortune, unfortunately, they kind of think they're above, the law, the world. Like, there's nothing that you can tell them. And, when I didn't want to be with him anymore, when I made that decision, he cut me off of everything.
You're kidding. So
With
you
4
haven't
children.
spoken to him?
No, we have actually. The first time we spoke again and got together was on international TV, a couples therapy.
Couples therapy.
Couples therapy.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But what has he made of your decision to write this book, this tell-all?
I don't like to say it's a tell-all,
Okay.
only because I feel like that's like kind of. I don't know. For some reason, it sounds ratchet to me. Like,
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, because I'm just telling my story. I'm not trying to get back at him.
Okay.
I realized that I didn't lose my mind in a very crazy situation. And a lot of fans and people will come up to me and say, how did you do it? And I was like, you know what? I told them, on a one-on-one, but I said, I think I'm going to write a book, because I started realizing that my testimony was helping people. And, you don't never realize how powerful your story is until you start telling and sharing it to someone else. So
True.
That's why.
So you talk about in the book, you think you know, but you have no idea. So what exactly do we have no idea about?
I feel like the world looks in on celebrities like it's all peaches and cream, just because, the fame, the money. But they have no idea. They really think they know. And like even now, and in the 8 years that me and DMX was separated, people looked at me and was like, oh, she's rich. I mean, so what he's doing, had 8 kids on her. They have money. She lives in a big house upstate in Westchester. No, I mean, this is not what I signed on for.
So what was the reality of your day-to-day like with him?
I don't want to say it was all bad, because when it was good, it was good. But the day-to-day, I mean, after being away from him for 8 years, it was emotionally draining. It was a serious roller coaster. You just never know. He's very unpredictable. He's one of a kind. He's my children's father, so I don't want to try to speak it like negative, but I mean, he's definitely one of a kind, and I don't think the average person really has a clue on.
So at what point did you decide you had to get out of the relationship on the day-to-day?
Well, what made me get out was because of the children that was popping up. I mean, sad.
And you didn't find that out until couples rehab, that he had all those kids outside of your union?
No. I found out when I first left him, which was when he claimed that he was raped. And that's when I knew that there was no limits to what he would say or do, because I knew that he didn't get raped. And
he claimed he was raped by a woman, that's why the child was produced.
Yep. And yes, exactly.
I don't mean to laugh.
That's serious. And guess what? How about?
I really don't mean to laugh, but when you hear something like that, obviously you're angry, but there has to be a point where you're just like, this is ridiculous.
And that's what I mind you, now I'm in 20 years of the relationship, and I'm like, are you serious? You really gonna go to the press and say that someone raped you? Yeah, because this is what happened. You don't believe me? You know how it gets down. And I'm like, so that's when I had my wake-up call. But I was trying to figure out how to get out of it by then.
So obviously the couples therapy did not work.
At all. And you know what? It did not work. Well, you know what? We didn't go on there to get back together. We went on there because he said he had things to talk about, which he never wanted to do when we were together. So, but when we went on, it was therapeutic for me.
It was. How did
Yeah,
being on
very.
that show change your relationship and how you felt about yourself being in that relationship?
I really felt low, to be honest with you. I started realizing, you know, what a fool I've been. How much of my life I gave to someone who had no regard, to be honest with you. I have to be 100% honest. Before that, I felt sorry for him. I was like, oh, the drugs, you know this. But then being on that show, I realized that he was very aware. You know, he was using the drugs as an excuse. And I really felt stupid. And
Like you'd been manipulated.
I definitely realized that I was manipulated. And you know, and I started reading up on it. I realized a lot of women and men go through the same thing. So I'm like, okay, why don't I use my public figure and, you know, turn my pain into purpose? Because I was beyond devastated when I realized that.
Now, on the show, it was clear that he was verbally abusive. Was he ever physically abusive?
You know what? I don't want to, you know, and I could still be in denial now. I feel like when someone says physical, it's like they're getting beat down, they're put in the hospital. He has been physically abusive in a relationship, but it was more verbal and psychological, you know, for him, and emotional. Verbally, definitely, which I didn't realize till I watched the show. Everyone got a cold face when they watched us on the show. I mean, the people that were there, and I was just like, this is not even nothing. I'm used to dealing with way worse. And they were like, this woman is a battered woman. She doesn't even realize it.
Did he hit you? Did he ever put his hands on you?
He has, but he's never put me in a hospital or anything like that. But like he'll strike out, you know, sometimes. And because I felt like, oh, you know, he didn't beat me up or gave me a black eye, you know, I was like, he didn't abuse me physically.
So given what you know now and the enlightenment that you received from the therapy, will you be divorcing him?
Yes.
It's been 8 years so far.
Yes. I actually filed, and November 14th is there. Well, he doesn't comply with anything. He doesn't comply with child support. He doesn't comply with anything. So the judge took it on themselves, and they're going to honor my divorce because he doesn't want to sign. He doesn't want to come to court. He doesn't want to do anything. So they realize that he's an irresponsible person that doesn't care. And why should his women keep being dragged into, you know? So.
Tashira, what do you make of his erratic behavior? I mean, we see the headlines. We see footage of him running around a hotel naked. We see him quoting Bible scriptures on street corners. I mean, what do you make of this behavior? I mean, you see this video. What is this?
You know, and when I see footage like that, it really makes me sad because it shows me that he hasn't grown. He hasn't grown. I read somewhere that when someone is on drugs, from the time they start taking the drug is where their growth actually stops. And I would definitely say that I've seen that. He started taking drugs when he was 14. And even though he's very, very talented and very smart, I mean, he has a lot of childish behaviors. He needs to grow up. He doesn't take care of his children. He's on TV lying, saying that he does. So, and I don't, you know, I'm only putting that out there now because it's all in the book.
Well, when you speak of these drugs, what type of drugs was he on, and did he start taking them before or after he became a celebrity?
He was taking it way before he started. He started taking crack cocaine when he was at the age of 14.
14 on crack?
Well, it was in a Wooly. They called it a Wooly. Someone actually tricked him. He thought it was weed, and they laced it. You know, that's what they call it, with you know, with crack in it. And ever since then, he, you know, until he was about in the 20s is when he really got, you know, really bad. But before then, he was just doing it in his weed. But I mean, and you know, I didn't know about that type of stuff. You know, he appeared to be normal. He really got worse when the money and the, you know, because he couldn't afford to get high every day. But once the money and the fame came, it was like no one can control him. You know what I mean?
So do
it's
you
just
think
sad.
that his recent behaviors has something to do with continued drug use?
Oh, definitely. I mean, his team always say, I mean, I don't really speak to his team much, but when I do try to reach out, they're like, oh, he's clean now. He's getting his life together. And I've known him for 25 years. I know when he's clean and when he's not. And he has been for a whole entire year after he lost his grandmother. But ever since then, he's been up and down. And I can see it by looking at him, like when I looked at the film on the TMZ, I was like, you know, like who does that really, for real, a grown man?
Now, you met when you were 11.
Yes.
But you didn't start dating until you were, what, 18?
18.
Okay, so what was he
Yes.
like back then, before the fame, before the crack? What was he like?
He had a very good heart. He was just different from the other young boys that I've came across. He had a lot of substance. And he loved living. He wanted to live because he had such a bad childhood and upbringing. So when he met me, I'm from the other side of town. The energy that I had and just wanting to, more in life, even though I came from the kind of same background, he kind of got onto that. So he was I have to say, he was, before the drugs totally took control, and I do believe that the drugs has a big, it plays a big part in his life, but he was just good and eager to, just be something in life and have kids. And
Were you ever swept up in the hype of the lifestyle? Did he ever encourage you to try to take drugs as well?
no, I have to say, and I respect him for that. He never did that. He never, and I'm not gonna lie, I would say to him sometimes, because he was so bad at a time when I was like, how would you feel if I start getting high with you? Just to see if it would spark a chord, and he would automatically be like, no, what would the kids do? So, and I was like, so what do you mean? What do the kids do? So the kids need you too. So it's like a bittersweet thing, because it's like I seen someone I truly love more than life, just transition from this. He wasn't ever perfect. I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna sit and say act like I was too, but I never had so many issues, and he's just lost,
He's fathered 8 children?
Yes.
Out of their relationship?
Out of our relationship.
My goodness.
Yeah,
so
which
what
was-
is that like for you when you realize that this person has not only not been faithful, but he's not practiced safe sex at all, and he's clearly been indulging in groupies? What was that like for you?
That was the most hurtful part, to be honest with you. I mean, now where I am today, but back then, because today I'm just like, I don't know how I dealt with anything, to be honest with you, but back then, that was my biggest concern. I was like, I thought we were best friends. I thought you were my husband. You was gonna protect me. I mean, if you're gonna go out there and do something, why would you not wear a protection? Like, I have children to raise. What if he would have gave me an AIDS or something? And, that was the most hurtful part, to be honest with you, because I thought he was better than that, So that was hurtful, to be honest with you.
So you talk about some of the misconceptions in this relationship, in celebrity Hollywood life. What was life like for you in the limelight?
You know what? It was wonderful, to be honest with you. I mean, from 2 people coming from nothing, and overnight becoming millionaires. Literally, it was crazy because he had Belly going on, shows. The money just poured in. It was the first 2 years of me and DMX, because we were together for 9 years before he became famous. So them 2 first years were the best times of our life. I mean, when I tell you, we're like kids in a candy store. And he's always been very giving, always. And that's why I don't
So he would spoil you,
I mean,
trips.
everything. Stop working, trips. I think I only flew commercial maybe a couple of times. We went straight to private jets.
Wow.
I swear, like, because
You were living large,
Yeah,
girl.
because when you don't have anything, you're like, oh, rich people get private jets. Oh, and Tashira, when you start having more kids, you got to get nannies. Like, we're gonna do everything rich people do. Like, we were kids. We were like 21 when he. So it was like, it was the most exciting, and I thank him for that. I really do. But that's what made me hold on for so long. People say, why did you stay so? I'm like, because on top of him being everything to me, he introduced me to a life. He didn't have to do that. I mean, there were a lot of people that, when they got famous, they left their childhood sweethearts. Right. So I just felt like I owed him. But when I start realizing now, I didn't owe him anything. He owed me just as much as I owed him. And he shouldn't have done me like that. But, in the midst of everything, for a long time, I felt like it was my fault. That's how he made me feel, to be honest with you. But
Tashira, let me ask you a question, and you got to be honest here. Say he kicked the drugs, says he's better, has found God and everything. Would you get back with him?
No.
Really?
Do you know this?
You're done.
I am so done, and this is a question that everybody asks me, and I think it's because I think people see the love that I did, that I have for him, because I love him. I still love him. I'm not in love with him anymore. The reason why I won't is because in the 8 years of our separation, I have dated, and After
You got another man, Tashira?
well, I'm dating.
Oh!
She's just testing the water.
I'm testing the waters, exactly. I'm really testing the waters. And to be honest with you, after coming from an abusive relationship and just to meet someone normal, that's not running around, that's not talking crazy, just a normal, peaceful person, I can never see myself go back to that. And I'm really, from my heart, saying that.
So after you've realized this, you've come to this part in your life, what do you hope people will take away from this book, all these life lessons that you're wrapping up in this? What should people take away?
You know what? I think that people should definitely take away that life is too short. You know, I would never tell someone, like, because people ask me, do you have any regrets? I don't, because it made me who I am today. But you have to love yourself first. And I lost myself from loving someone too much, and I put them before me. So when they look at everything, because I lost everything, literally, and I still have my house by the grace of God. So, but it's like, I don't ever want, I want someone to read my story and say, you know what? Even though I meet my Prince Charming, or, you know, a man, love of their life, you gotta make sure that you put yourself first at all times, regardless how much money they have, how nice they are, you know, how much they sweep you off your feet, because you just never know. And education is so important, which I didn't get because I lost myself, but I went back and, you know, I got, you know, a GED, and then I took some classes, but I really just, you know, and I'm very open about my life because there's a lot of people out there that's like that I'm not ashamed. I used to be embarrassed, but I'm not anymore. You know, it's life, I've been through it, and I'm hoping that people learn from mine and my mistakes.
Speaking to you today has been such an inspiration. Tashira, thank you so much.
Really?
You have an
Thank
event
you.
that you wanted to tell us
Yes,
about really quickly,
I'm
and let
having-
us know where we can get the book as well.
Yes, okay, well, the book, you think you know, but you have no idea. I don't know if you guys are showing it. Yes, that's it. You can get it, oh God, you can get it, buy the tickets. Well, first of all, it's Tuesday, November 4th.
Okay.
At Katra in Manhattan. The publishing company is MBP. MBP
Okay.
Publications.
Okay.
And the tickets, oh my God, can I read my phone? I can't. I'm
She's like, I get them.
Do I
What
have
about your
time,
website?
or
Can we
can
go
we
to your
put it up?
website?
Can
You
we
can
put it
tweet
up?
it.
Can we tweet it?
Yeah,
Because-
tweet it once you know so everybody can follow you on Twitter and get all the
Okay,
details.
because it was so last minute, and
That's
I
okay.
had
What's your
everybody
Twitter
send it
handle
over.
so we can know?
My Twitter is @Tashira Simmons.
Okay.
Okay,
Very
so now we
simple.
know where to go
And
get all
then-
the information.
Yes, please, everyone go to @Tashira Simmons, and then everything will be up there.
Okay.
great.
Okay.
That's
Thank you
perfect.
so
Thank you so much for having me.
Tashira, thank you so much for being here. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank
You're watching Arise Entertainment 360.